viewers, let's look at this beautiful question, which is question 4, extracted from Mathematics paper 2 for the year 2024, written by the internal candidates. So under question 4, we have two questions. Question A coming from the topic of matrices, question B coming from the topic of series and sequences. So we can now begin with question A, where we are given the matrix. So matrix P with the entries 3, -4, -1 and 2. And if you look at the first question, Roman number 1, we are told to find what we call the determinant. So what you do, the concept is the same. So we are going to identify the elements from the major diagonal. So these represents the major diagonal. After that, we also have to look at the minor diagonal. So here we have the minor diagonal. So to find the determinant, we are supposed to multiply 3 with 2 in the major diagonal, subtracted by -4 times -1 in the minor diagonal. Determinant of P is equal to 3 times 2 will give us a +6 minus -4 times -1 will give us a +4. Then determinant of P is equal to 6 minus 4, which is our determinant of P is just equal to 2. So this is our final answer for Roman number 1. Then for number 2, we are told to find the inverse. So we need to come up with what we call the formula. So inverse of a matrix, which is P, you raise it to the power -1, is equal to 1 divided by the determinant of P multiplied by the adjoint of matrix P. So the determinant is given. All we need to do here is to find the adjoint of matrix P. So I'm going to write my original matrix here. So we have 3, -4, -1 and 2. So when coming up with the adjoint, there are some steps that you are supposed to do. So you begin with the major diagonal. So for major diagonal, you need to interchange the positions. So 3 will come where 2 is, then 2 will come where 3 is. So this becomes 2 and 3. So this is what you're supposed to do with the major diagonal. Just change the positions, including the signs. Then for minor diagonal, change the sign. So since this is -4 in our original matrix, in our adjoint becomes +4, then this becomes +1. So this is now what we are going to put here. So we can say inverse of matrix P is equal to 1 over the determinant is 2 times the adjoint 2, 1, 4 and 3. If you want, you can expand where you multiply 1 over 2 times every entry in our given matrix, but even at this point the answer is still correct. We can now move on to question B. So for question B, we are given the geometric progression 10 as our first term, term number 1, 30, term number 2, 90, term number 3. As we can see, the numbers were increasing, therefore each term was multiplied by a certain number that we are able to find. So the first question is we want to find the 10th term. So 10th term is the number on position number 10. So we'll have 4th term, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So the number that we need is on this position. So what you do, first we need to come up with a common ratio. So common ratio is found by this formula. So R is equal to second term over first term, or third term divided by second term. R is equal to, so what is our second term? Is 30 over first term is 10. So if you divide the two numbers, our common ratio is 3. Or if you want, we can also find the same common ratio by dividing 90 as our third term over 30 as our second term. So as we can see, we are still getting a 3. So this means that the first term 10 was multiplied by 3. So 10 times 3 is 30, times 3, that is 90, times 3, that is 270, times 3, 810, times 3, 2000, 430, times 3, 7000, 290, times 3, 21,870, times 3, 65,610, times 3, 196,830. So that is our 10th term. Or if you want, we can find the same answer, but this time we can use the formula. So the formula is Tn is equal to A times Z, common ratio, raised to the power n minus 1. Right, so N represents the number of tens, so we have 10 terms. A is our first 10 in our sequence, so the first term or first number is 10. Common ratio is 3. So we have T raised 10 is equal to A is 10. Common ratio is 3. Then we have 10 minus 1. So T10 is equal to, do not multiply 10 by 3 now, because 3 is raised to the power 10 minus 1. So we maintain our 10 like this, times 3 raised to the power 9. So what is 3 raised to the power 9? So 3 raised to the power 9 is giving me 19,683. If you multiply by 10, you get 196,830. So this is our final answer. So we can move on to question B. So question B, we need the sum. So the formula is this one, A, open brackets, R raised to the power n minus 1 over R minus 1 when the common ratio is greater than 1. And remember, common ratio is 3, A is 10, A is 10, then N is 6 terms. So S of 6 terms is equal to A is 10, R is 3 raised to the power 6 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. So we have 10, 3 raised to the power 6, I'm getting 729 minus 1 divided by 2. Then at this point we have 10. If we subtracted 1 from 729, we get 728 over 2 times 10 on top, we get 7,280 over 2 divided by 2, we have 3,640. So that is the sum of the first 6 terms. So the first 6 terms are these numbers. So from here up to here. So if you want to check your answers or your answer, you can try to add these 6 numbers and see how much you are getting. So 10 plus 30 plus 90 plus 270 plus 810 plus 2,430. So I'm getting, so if I add, I'm getting 3,640. As you can see, this is the same answer. So that's what you're supposed to do. So you can add if you have the numbers or the terms. If you want, you can use the formula. The key point is you find the sum. Then for Roman number 3, we need geometric mean. So if we have A, comma B and C, the geometric mean is the middle term. This is our term. So what you do if you're dealing with a geometric progression, you say B is equal to plus or minus the square root of A times C. So if you have the numbers 2,430 as our first term, this is our A. B we don't have. C is 21,870. So what is our middle term? So that's what the question is asking us. So remember, the formula is B is equal to plus or minus the square root of A multiplied by C, plus or minus the square root of 2,430 times 21,870. So we can now multiply these numbers. So 2,430 times 21,870. So I'm getting 53,144,100. Then the square root will be, we'll ignore the negative sign because we can see that the two numbers are all positive. So we need the positive number from this. So the square root of now this number, what is the square root of 53,144,100? So I'm getting 7,290 as our middle term. So this is what you are supposed to do. So that is our final answer. And as we can see from here, we can see we have the middle term between this and this and this is this number that we have found here. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.